Hi, and welcome back to MyExcelOnline.com. Today is part 7 of our VBA series where we're going to learn how to automate Excel a little bit more. This week, we are going to change the color of a row of cells based on the criteria entered in one of those cells. So let me show you a spreadsheet as an example. Here we have a spreadsheet where we are doing some basic data entry. Over here in column B, we are going to enter what level the project is at. Over here in column J, you can see the different levels and the color associated with each one of those levels. So what I would like to do is in column B, right here, I would like to create a pull-down box so that one of these levels can be selected. I'm going to do that with my data validation. So if I select column B, and then I go up to the Data tab, and I go over here to Data Validation, and click Data Validation, I am going to select a list here, and I'm going to select as my source of the list everything over here from J2 to J8. And then I'm going to click this button and say OK. So if I go over here to the level, I can now see that I can select any of the values that are over here in this list. So once I select one of these values, say for example, I select level 2, I would like to color code this entire row as the same color I have over here for the level 2 color, or the yellow, or the level 3 color, or the orange. So how do I do that in VBA code? So I'm going to click Alt F11 so that I can go straight to the Visual Basic for Applications window. And do you remember when we talked about event-driven programming a few weeks ago? Well, right here, I want to double-click on this workbook and click here to Workbook. And over here, I would like to select Sheet Change, because I would like to program my worksheet to execute some code based on changing values in my column B. So let's Alt Tab back to Excel, and essentially if I change this list box right here, that's when I would like my code to run. So I'm going to look and say I only want code to execute if I am in column B. If I'm in column C, I don't want to run my code. If I'm in column A, I don't want to run my code. But anytime I'm in column B and I change the value here, I will want to run my code. So I'm going to Alt Tab back to Visual Basic, and let's delete this code up here because we're not going to do anything on open for the workbook, but we are going to do something for the event workbook sheet change. So the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out if I'm in column B. So I'm going to indent, and I'm going to type if target.address equals, and I'm going to do $B $2, and then type then. And remember, I want to hit enter a few times and write my end if right away so that I don't forget it later on. So if I'm in cell B2, then I want to send a message box that just says B2. And I'm going to Alt Tab and go back to Excel. So in cell B2, I'm going to change my value here, and I get a message box that says B2. But if I go to a different B and I change my value in my list box, I don't get a message box because I'm no longer in cell B2. So my code right now is only working for cell B2. I would like to show you how to use the immediates window in order to return some values on my spreadsheet. So I'm going to Alt Tab back to my VBA window, and I'm going to set a breakpoint right here. And I'm going to Alt Tab back to Excel, and I'm going to change the value of a cell. And you can see that I have entered my Visual Basic code in break mode. So what I would like to do here is I would like to see what the target.address is. So I'm going to copy that, and down here in the immediate window, I'm going to put a question mark and target.address and hit enter. So you can see right here that I'm in cell B4. I'm not in cell B2. But look here, whenever I'm in column B, I'm going to get a $sign and then a B as the left two characters of my target.address. I would like to edit my if statement up here using the left function. What the left function does is it takes the leftmost number of characters that I specify from a string. So in this case, I would like to say left with a left parenthesis. The string, I want to evaluate target.address. And then I'm going to put a comma, and I only want the left two characters because if you look down here again, if I'm in column B, the left two characters are going to be $B. I'm going to close the parentheses, and I'm going to get rid of the $2. And also, I'm going to return a message box that just says B, and then I'm going to end if. So I'm going to hit stop up here on my code, and I'm going to click here to remove the breakpoint. Now, if I Alt Tab back to Excel and I select anything from here, I'm getting a message box now that says B. If I go down here, I'm getting a message box that says B, but if I click in cell C, I'm getting nothing. So I now am running code only if I'm in column B, which is exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to Alt Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications. And again, if the left two characters of my target.address is is $B, I know I'm in column B. So let's Alt-Tab back to Excel and think about the logic of what we would like to do. If this cell changes, then what I would like to do is go over here to J2 to J8, and I would like to match whatever is in column B with the same value over here in this range of cells for column J. And once I do make a match, I would like to set the color of A, B, and C for that row to the color that's over here. So how do I do that? If you are liking this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to get notifications of our new weekly Excel tips. Well, first I'm going to need a variable to keep track of where I am over here in column B, and then I'm going to need a second variable to keep track of cycling through column J until I find the matching value. So remember that a variable for a cell is called a range. So I'm going to Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications, and I'm going to declare two variables in here. The first one is going to be dim RNG current as range, because this one is going to keep track of my current cell and its value that I want to match. And then I'm going to dim RNG color as a range as well, and this one is going to cycle through column J to find out what color I want to use. So the next thing I want to do is I want to set my RNG current equal to my active cell, because I want to remember which cells I'm going to change the color for, and I want to be able to come back to that. I also want to set RNG color equal to the first cell of my color range. So if I Alt-Tab to go back to Excel, I can see right here that I want to start at J2. So I'm going to Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications and set RNG color equal to range, left parenthesis, left quote, J2. Close the quotes, close the parentheses, and hit enter. Now I'm going to Alt-Tab back to Excel, and what I want to do is set my cursor right here on J2, and I want to loop through here until I find the value that matches the cell that I was just on. I was just on B2, so I want to find the value level 4. So I'm going to want to stop looping through these once I find level 4. Also, I'm going to want to put a stopping point on this looping because I don't want to go on and on and on in case somehow I've typed a typo over here in column B. So I'm going to want to stop right here at J9. So I'm going to Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications, and I'm going to do until RNG color.address equals, in double quotes, $J, $9. Close my double quotes. And down here I'm going to type loop just to close the do until statement. So in this case, I'm going to evaluate the current cell I'm on and whether or not it matches the RNG color value. So if RNG current dot value equals RNG color dot value, then I'm going to take some action, and I'm going to type endif down here. So if the values match, I want to take a range from column A and the RNG current dot row, and then an ampersand, and in double quotes, a colon and the letter C, close my quotes, do an ampersand, and do RNG current dot row, and close my parentheses. So what this is saying here is, let me Alt-Tab back to Excel. Whatever row I am in over here, I want to keep that row number, and I want to change the color from A to C. But I don't know which row I'm in. That's why I'm using the active cell. So if I Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications, you can see right here where I've made my range current equal to the active cell. So now my current range dot row is the row that I am on that I'm going to change, and I'm going to change only from A to C because those are the only cells I want to change the color. So what is the property of this range of cells that I want to change? It is called .interior.color, and I actually want to set that color equal to the RNG color .interior.color. I'm going to hit enter. You've seen all of my code capitalized, which shows that I have the correct syntax. And then I'm going to type exit sub because I don't wish to evaluate this any longer if I have found a match. And then I have endif. But after my endif statement, I need to set my RNG color equal to my RNG color dot offset of going down one row and over 0 cells, because I need to be moving and looping through my set. If I don't put this in, I'm just going to evaluate cell J2 over and over again, and I'm going to be in an endless loop. So I'm going to hit enter, make sure my code capitalizes. And now I'm going to Alt-Tab back to Excel. So now if I change my cell, you can see level 3 is changing the color of A through C because that's what I specified. If I go down here to cell 5, I select level 6, and the color changes to blue. If I go down here and select level 2, my color changes to yellow. This is exactly what I want to happen. So as you can see, you can use an event on a spreadsheet, such as sheet update. I can use a list box to pick a particular value, and I can match the back color of that value to the back color that I have over here in my key. So if I Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications, let's just step through our code one last time. Right here, I'm evaluating whether or not the left 2 characters of the column that I am in is in fact column B, because that's the only column I wish to run this code on. If it is, then I'm going to set 2 range variables. The first range variable is to keep track of what cell I have changed, and the second one is to loop through the different values that I have for my color-coded key. So I want to keep track of where I am currently, which is my active cell, because that will be the set of cells that I wish to change the color. And then I want to use my second range variable to start in J2, if I Alt-Tab back to Excel, right here where my color-coded key is. So right here is my current cell, and over here is my color-coded range. If I Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications, you will see that I am going to loop through everything in J until I get to cell J9. If I Alt-Tab back to Excel, you will see J9 is right here. This is where my color key ends. Going to Alt-Tab back to Visual Basic for Applications. While I'm looping through, I want to see where the current value of my cell is equal to the value in the key. Once it is, I want to select columns A to C only for that row, and I want to change the interior color to the interior color of the key, and then I want to stop running my code. Otherwise, I want to loop through to the next color in the key until I get to J9, and then I'm going to end if for evaluating whether or not I'm in column B, and then I'm going to be done with my subroutine. So in review today, we learned how to change the color of an entire range of cells based on a color that's already been indicated in a key, doing that in Visual Basic for Applications. This is a fun script to run because it changes the color and it really brings a lot of attention to the user's eye. Hopefully you learned something new today, and we'll see you again next week.
If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're really serious about advancing your Microsoft Excel skills so you can stand out from the crowd and get the jobs, promotions, and pay rises that you deserve, then click up here and join our Academy online course today.